Alrighty, welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast. I am your host, as always, David Sagoe, with my main man Tom Arnal,
Hey, sorry, microphone's here. Hey.
Michael Michael Downey,
All right.
and Jose Garcia Vidal.
Hey guys.
Got to tell you guys this is a special episode because it's our first sponsored episode.
Hey.
True.
Yes.
Big time. We big time.
Big time. We're gonna have to edit this in. So yeah, for the listeners, we are now a sponsored podcast, which means you'll be seeing our sponsor popping up in different places on our social media and in audio episodes. Just hold on a sec while I find out who our sponsors are. We are sponsored by, just like the Americans do it, right? Yeah. We are sponsored by dateamericanwomen.com. Do you know why? Because it's good to date American women, and it's good for American women to date BritishGuys.com.
Go.
Sure.
They are who supports us, who helps us keep the good content coming. And we would like it if you supported them too, because that would help them to help us and help you to help me to help you.
Yeah. Lockdown's coming to an end, right? Get lockdown.
Yeah, man. Get. Start planting the seeds. Also trees. Great trees. Isn't that right, Tom?
Yeah. I'll do that. You do that.
Shouts to you guys. So that is dateamericanwomen.com and datebritishguys.com. I'm single, ladies. So today we are talking about All-Star Day. Hey?
Yeah.
First ever All-Star Day.
No weekend.
Not weekend. There was no All-Star practice. There was media availability. There was the skills contest, the shooting contest, an All-Star game, a halftime dunk contest, more All-Star game, Anthony Hamilton singing, and then the rest of the All-Star game. It was a weird day. I watched everything though. I wasn't meant to, and I ended up going to bed real late, totally against my plans. But that's what happened.
It's okay. You're a grown-up man now. You're allowed to stay up.
Yeah.
It's just bad for my sleep cycle. I paid for it today.
So that tells you how grown-up you are.
Way too grown up.
You're too grown-up to stay up now.
Yeah. It hurts.
There's no chance I was doing that.
Can relate.
So I watched all of it. It was okay. It had its moments. But it was underwhelming. I think it's the most underwhelming All-Star game day or whatever you want to call it that we've had. And I'm someone who normally enjoys the All-Star game. I normally get up for it. It's normally a thing for me. What did you guys think in general?
More underwhelming than the ones when they were not playing any defense at all.
Yeah, because they still weren't playing defense.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Should it have happened? Like, the All-Star game it's obviously for the fans. Obviously, it's also for the exactly money, for the sponsors. It's for the sponsors and for the money. So that's the real reason why it happened. But I mean, I still enjoyed a couple things. I enjoyed Nikola Jokic, how much he enjoyed it. The best time, man. He was just like laughing all over. Love that. And yeah, I mean, I wish the rising stars, rising talents game would have happened because my main man Campazzo was there.
Yeah.
Chosen as one of the international stars. But besides that, I mean, it's still good to see all these stars play together, isn't it? Steph and Dame just so well with those half-court shots. It's like nothing.
That was the highlight of the whole weekend. That was like by far the best part to me. Like their range is ridiculous.
My highlight was the 3-point shooting contest, which is absolutely mental. As that, just watching the highlight, the guys. Do you guys remember that a couple of years ago, like you would get up, I think a great result would be getting 23, 24, 25, and like first round, most of them got to 25. I'm like, that's like a layup now these days for them. It's just not even funny anymore. Like Steph got what, 31 in the first round?
31.
Granted, the extra, what were the Mountain Dew balls or Gatorade balls or whatever.
Mountain Dew balls.
4-point balls.
The 3-point balls. Yeah.
That was just like it was so Steph.
It was so Steph. Yeah, and then the final was really cool. And he made the last shot to win it. I thought that was pretty cool. That was for me the highlight.
Dame made the last shot.
No, like 3-point shooting.
We're talking about 3-point shot.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
And then Dame finished the only way he knows how to finish a game, which is a piece of butter from 25 kilometers away. That's fine. But during the game, the one thing I enjoyed was Giannis's 100% shooting. I thought that was pretty cool as a stat. And shooting like
because he also
16.
shot a couple of threes, right?
Yeah,
and banked them in.
This is the thing. Oh my god!
He banked them both.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights of the game before I saw anything else, and there was just these random Giannis bank threes. And I was like, what's happened to an All-Star game? Why are you showing me banked threes?
But yeah, he was like in the second half, he was like 10 for 10, and everyone knew he was like 100%. So every time he got the ball, it was like, make sure it's a dunk, Giannis. Make sure it's a dunk. Like, we gotta see this keep going. And then he pulls up for the 3, and all the commentators are like, no! And he banks it, and they're like, yeah!
Oh shit! No, that was funny. But it was good. It's quite impressive, even if it's in the All-Star game. Like it's when there's no defense. I always look at it like it's a Sunday morning game that we used to play, and it's like there's no defense either, and it's like nobody gets 100%.
Hey.
Just don't pretend there's any defense.
Speak for yourself.
I'll say I'm talking about myself. Like, I don't play any defense. I'm all offense.
It doesn't matter what day of the week it is.
He plays striker. Huh?
I don't run back.
In the half court, he plays number 9.
I'm lucky there's no offside rules in basketball, because I would have been fucked. I don't play defense. God, it's a weird thing though. I still don't understand why I don't like James Harden. We're so magical on the offense and non-existent on defense. I should love him. You know what I'm saying? Should identify with him. Anyway,
American Luca.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there were bits and pieces that were great. There were plenty that wasn't so great. But they got it done. No positive tests. And only 2 All-Stars are going to have to sit out. And it might be one game if it's not going to be a significant amount either. After the barber.
Well done on them for actually making that decision and not sort of trying to chance it or anything like that. Because they could have easily sort of tried to sweep that under the rug or something like that. But yeah.
And then also they raised, I think, was it 3 million for HBCUs?
Something
a lot of money for historically black colleges and universities.
I don't know what the total ended up being, because I think a few of the players were topping it up as they went and stuff like that.
And there was some if you do this, then I'll match it and stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure what the final amount is either. But at least some money went to a good cause, and the rest went to TNT.
It's another good cause somewhere in there.
But what are some of your earlier All-Star memories? I turned up. I appeared on NBA UK Fans live at 5 on Saturday. Shouts to Rich Barrett and Ginger Shack and everyone over there. Yeah, I was on there and they asked me that question. And for me, I think it was the 03-04, so 2004 All-Star game, where Jamal McGlaw was picked and everyone was like, this is the worst All-Star ever. And he almost won the MVP. He had like 19 points and a bunch of boards. And he just went out there and went hard in a game where no one else was. And almost went away with the MVP. So what are some of your earliest memories? You want to start us off, Jose?
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about the same game. Actually, one of the players that was selected to that All-Star game. This is 02-03. So one before. Michael Jordan hitting a what should have been a winning 3.
Yeah.
And then these bastards from the West, they just couldn't lose, right? That should have ended. It should have ended there. Just turn off the lights. Let's go. Yeah. Give him the MVP too. But they couldn't. They just couldn't do it because on the other side you had Kobe on the other side, right? And Kobe was actually defending Michael when he scored that shot, that fadeaway. So Kobe was obviously, with the blood in his veins, just boiling, and he was like, "I cannot let you win this." I remember that was an amazing All-Star, Michael's last one.
Yeah.
I remember the halftime being quite emotional because I remember just randomly Mariah Carey was singing. She was wearing a dress with the Wizards number 23. And
you remember the dress? Okay.
Sure.
Good on you.
And the old Wizards uniform, which I quite like actually. And Michael obviously gave a speech afterwards, and he said something like, "I leave the game in good hands," and when I saw that All-Star lineup, I was like, yes, you really are. Because let me tell you a couple of players that were like Eastern, the East starting lineup was Ben Wallace, Michael Jordan as a power forward, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Jermaine O'Neal was there too. So that was the starting 5. Sorry, no, it wasn't Jermaine O'Neal. It was Vince Carter. You also had on that team Zydrunas Ilgauskas. You remember him? Enter for the Cavs.
All-Star.
Listen to these stats. He played an entire 4 minutes. No points. Fine. No assists, that's fine. But no rebounds either.
Nice. Just out there running around.
Come on. Honestly, no rebounds? Okay. And the West was Kobe, Tim Duncan, Steve Francis, Kevin Garnett, and Yao Ming. I mean, it was Yao because obviously he had more votes than Shaq because he was the first Chinese player to be a superstar.
That was that his rookie year?
That was his rookie year, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And since
he never lost a vote count after that.
Remember that they used to have the rookies versus sophomores team, right? So first year players against second year. So since he didn't play for the rookies and he played in the All-Star game, then there was an open spot. So Manu Ginobili went into the rookie sophomore game because of that. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. I was happy. And then
Argentina facts.
I love it. Trivia. And then if we ever have an Argentinian basketball quiz in England for any reason, just take me. And then obviously Manu made the All-Star a couple of times after that, which is fine. But that game was just amazing. However, one thing that I didn't enjoy from that game, I think it's from that year on, is that they had different uniforms for each team back again as it used to be in the 80s. Because during the 90s up until 2002, they had their own team
jerseys,
which I loved. Yeah. I think that was amazing. The one that stood up the most was the Lakers, obviously, because it was the only yellow one. Every other local one was like home team was white, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and then obviously the 2000s, the dunk contest. I was watching live. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because the previous year they canceled it, right?
Yeah.
Because
was it the Vince Carter one?
Yeah, Vince Carter was 2000 because in '98 Kobe won, but they just had one good dunk. Kobe's under the leg, but
he probably shouldn't have even made the final if you watch it back.
It was just,
it was not a good dunk contest.
It was Kobe. That's why he won. First rookie out of high school. Awesome. 99 they decided to cancel it because dunks were being shit. So there comes Vince Carter in 2000 with this amazing performance. In my opinion, hasn't been topped yet. Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine came very close, but I don't think it's ever gonna be top.
Never.
It's not the same star power, but I think the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon one, I think that took it to another level. Just because it was still so creative. To be creative in, what was that, 2017, 2016, something like that. Yeah. Considering how many dunk contests there's been and how many dunks we've seen and all the props and all of that stuff, for them to then go and give us a bunch of dunks we've never seen, I thought was pretty damn incredible.
That's what Vince did back then, right?
Yeah.
So, and that year, if you think about it, runners up were Tracy McGrady, who had some crazy dunks too.
Nice.
Steve Francis, he could jump so high. And there's this dunk that he just grabs the ball just from like way behind his body and smashes it. Really good. It was good dunk contest too.
Yeah.
Obviously, Vince was just way above everybody.
Yeah. But they did put in work as well. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's what makes the dunk contest, right? It's when not only the winner is great, but there's actually great competition and you enjoy watching everyone else as well. I wonder who the fourth person was in that dunk contest, because I do not remember.
Can't remember.
they got wrecked, whoever it was.
No.
Yeah, well, that's it.
That's going to deep research mode.
There you go. Mike, what are your early dunk contest memory? Not dunk contest, All-Star Weekend memories.
My early ones, I came into basketball quite late. So I just remember I would always be catching sort of the next day stuff and catching clips here and there sort of early on. But the best memories that I had early on were the uni days where we would organize the bar to basically serve us all night and have a lock-in to watch the All-Star game with the whole crew. And it was the best night every year. It was so good.
That is why I actually picked 2007.
Yeah,
because that was the year we did the sweepstake on who would be the MVP.
Yeah,
and Emmanuel, shouts to Emmanuel, I was talking to him on Sunday as well. Was like, oh, it's gonna be Kobe. Oh yeah, it's gonna be Kobe. And I was like, Kobe's won it twice. Like, why would he go for MVP now? He doesn't really care. He's focused on winning championships and stuff. He was like, it's gonna be Kobe. Yep, it's gonna be Kobe. And Kobe went and freaking won it, didn't he?
But that, like, the noughties era as well just seemed to have the best blend for All-Star games. Like, people were there to have fun. There was very little defense. It wasn't like a good basketball contest, but if you wanted to see some flashy dunks and people taking the piss with handles and stuff like that, like, it was prime entertainment basketball.
Yeah.
Good execution.
I remember watching Shaq around that time. Like Shaq, he would just enjoy it so much.
Yeah,
didn't he? I remember like throwing the ball on Dwight's face and kind of like going under the leg, shooting the 3-pointer, and people would love that.
Yeah,
Shaq was the ultimate performer.
Yeah.
Running point.
He would play point guard and stuff. That was really cool, and take the piece on free throws. It was quite fun. Like shooting in one hand or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then trying to dunk his didn't he try? He threw it up and dunked it in those.
Yeah, he tried to throw off the rim and catch.
Yes, chucked it against the backboard and just went bang.
But I actually remember the first time I saw that happen, like in a game, it's an All-Star game, and Tracy McGrady did it. I think it was 2001.
Yeah.
I was like,
but he did it in game, like in game. He threw it in traffic. But I think Shaq did it on the free throw, which was I remember I was pissing myself when I saw it.
What a player!
And then I think every year after T-Mac did it in 01, either T-Mac or Vince Carter would do it every game.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Kobe do it? I think Kobe had a go as well.
I think so.
He had one.
Kobe did it in like the playoffs, man.
Yeah, that's right. that was his All-Star game.
Yeah.
I also remember Kobe being on a wide open fast break and just having a little finger roll layup and getting booed out as well. So that was hilarious.
How about Jordan missing the dunk in 02?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Short. He didn't have his legs.
He could never dunk anyway.
No. It's all a myth.
Only won the dunk contest twice.
That's happened to Zion this year. He missed 3 dunks in the first quarter. I was like, "What is he drunk?"
Might have been.
It's too heavy.
Not the same kid from college, man.
Yeah.
The Red Cup boys.
Did you guys? I don't know if you've caught it though. There's like a little snippet of him being mic'd up with Zach LaVine. Is the most painful bit of audio I've seen. You know when they're like, "Guys, I'm mic'd up. Don't say anything," and then have like this weird forced like interview thing. Oh, it was awful.
Oh, when he's like, "Oh, this is my first All-Star. Is this your first All-Star?" Yeah. It's my first one
How
too.
do you feel about that? Real natural, guys.
And they cover up the mic, man. Fuck this bullshit, man. You know, afterwards. Strip club. You coming, Bron? You coming?
Just follow Harden.
Bron, you're not playing the second half, are you? No? Good. Save your legs for the strip club. Yeah, some of those are so contrived. Some of it was all right though. Giannis was quite entertaining. Doncic is always entertaining when he's mic'd up.
It's the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Tom, yes. Early All-Star memories.
I think my first memory was actually the '95 All-Star game, which was in Phoenix. That's I think the first one I watched the highlights too, but that's not my favorite. But I remember. I don't know if you guys remember that. Well, you're too young. It's like there was this purple and white. It was sick, and the teams were sick also. I think. What was it? I think. Hang on, let me pull up the East. Yeah, there you go. Hardaway, Miller, Pippen, Grant Hill, Shaq, starting 5. I like that.
This is Team Hardaway, right?
No, well, it's Anthony.
Oh,
the
Penny,
real one, the proper one, Penny.
Hang on, Team Hardaway was good.
Yeah. I don't think he started ever, but he made All-Star games for sure.
So Penny and Shaq then from Orlando, that was a good team.
Yeah, but '95, that's what they first teamed up. But my favorite one though, that was 2001. That was when the East was down by I think 20 or 19 with 4 minutes to go, something like that. And Iverson and Marbury when goats. And they literally brought the team back and just killed them. I think Marbury shot. I think he made the last 2 threes with the last one with something like 30 seconds to go to win it. And that was my first time actually being up all night watching the All-Star game. And like I said, I was about to go to bed, just about to go to bed, and then bang, this happened. It's like, oh, it's 5 minutes to go. It's done. It's a done deal. And
All-Star game,
and the crowd was going absolutely mental. I remember it was like people everywhere, just like those mixtapes you watch in at the Rockers and stuff like that. Like the crowd in New York, and the crowd is going wild, and they're literally stepping on the court. And it's like that was how it felt that day. It was like people almost lost their shit and just got in the court. Like, yes, it was a cool one. I think we discussed before we hit record, but like the starting 5s were just bonkers as well. Like in the West, just what was it? Jason Kidd, Kobe, Chris Webber, Tim Duncan, and Shaq. Just And they still lost the game. And the bench was alright. It was Michael Finley, Gary Payton, Garnett, Malone, Karl Malone, Mac Dice. Shit, you remember that?
Oh, that was a good player.
Sheed Wallace, one of my favorite. He's on my list.
Still played for Portland back then, though.
He was on the Blazers then, yeah. And Robinson, Dave Robinson, Spurs.
The Admiral.
And then Vlade Divac as well. You know, it's all right. And then the East was a bit of a weird one also. I mean, the starting four was Iverson, McGrady, Vince Carter, Grant Hill, Alonzo Mourning. You know, it's a cool starting five.
Yeah.
And then off the bench was Ray Allen, Alan Houston, yes. Steph Marbury. What else we got? Oh, Jerry Stackhouse. Bloody hell.
Hey.
Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason.
Big dude.
And then Glenn Robinson, Latrell Sprewell. Yes.
Latrell Sprewell.
This is when I was thinking like the East are never going to win.
And Latrell Sprewell must have been in Minnesota.
No, it was a Knicks.
No,
it was on the Knicks. We had two Knicks on there.
So Allen Houston and Anthony Mason was a Knicks player for a long time as well.
Yeah, he was on the Heat then, but I think after that he moved to the it was before.
No,
that.
he played with Patrick Ewing and
exactly
John Starks in the Knicks.
And then you had Antonio Davis, Dikembe, and Ratliff. Theo Ratliff. Do you guys remember Theo Ratliff?
Oh yeah,
Sixers for life.
Used to lead the league in blocks a lot.
Yeah.
Did you say Antonio Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raptors.
Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
But he was an all-star?
Yeah, he was good enough. Yeah.
Wow.
The East.
Good for him.
Yeah, the East was very limited though. So,
yeah.
Sounds like
all the big guys were in the West.
Yeah, like you had Duncan Nowitzki, Garnett, and as we said as well before before we started recording, like it was still a position-based basketball type of basketball, right? So if you had your positions covered, you definitely won the game. And the West, they were all big.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm looking at a 3-point contest. So it was won by Ray Allen. Yeah, fair enough.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Hey, 20 in the first round, 19 in the second round. So we were saying before with Steph.
High scorer.
There was no 3-point
Moneyball.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Oh, there was none.
And there was no money rack either.
There was no money
rack. So that already makes a difference.
Yeah, so it's literally just
Larry Bird is actually the best ever.
Yeah.
I think Craig Hodges has the record though.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was on the Bulls. Yes. In the final with Ray Allen, Stojakovic and Dirk. So some heavy shooters. Then didn't make the final. Alan Houston, Rashard Lewis, Steve Nash, and Byron Russell, and Pat Garrity. Wow.
That's such a random name right there. Why?
It's like, did you come in by mistake? Like, did you just see the line? Just let you in?
Sit down, Pat.
He did have the 3-point icon under his name on NBA Live. I remember that. Icon.
Yes.
He had the icon for sure.
Gosh.
I don't know who this is. Oh, he's got the 3-ball. Cool.
Shoot it.
Good, man. Put him in the corner.
Yeah, and just to walk you through the slam dunk contest, there's one last thing we can talk about for this. Yeah. do you guys remember who won the dunk contest?
Yes, I do. Desmond Mason.
Yes.
Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, on the Sonics. And then he ended up first ahead of Deshaun Stevenson.
Okay.
Baron Davis finished third.
Oh, he could jump.
And then my favorite, Stromile Swift.
Hey, he would smash that rim, man. Yeah. Like he's underrated.
Power.
I've seen highlight videos of him on YouTube, and he would just every dunk was just like a massive tomahawk. Like,
yeah, he was not. There was no finesse. It's just like the smash. But then also Jonathan Bender in there. Oof.
I remember him. I used to have him on my NBA Live.
Right.
He was just tall. I could shoot.
Yeah, and block shots, and in a computer game he's great, but he doesn't know what he's doing on an NBA court. One of those ones. There's a few of those.
God.
Yeah. Memories.
Good
times. Exactly.
But games played a big part in how I got into basketball. I remember getting Kobe Bryant's NBA courtside back in 1998 instead of getting Banjo-Kazooie for my birthday.
Oh,
and
big commitment.
You messed up.
Well, you only got 2 games a year back then.
Yep.
I said this is
Christmas,
the one for me.
Birthday. Yep.
And yeah, so obviously Kobe was the best player on the game, even though he was far from it in real life. But yeah, that's how I got into and learned about so many of the players.
Sliding doors moment right there.
Sticking
with the early noughties references.
I could have been podcasting about Banjo-Kazooie and the whole franchise right now.
There's still a chance, Dave. If you want me to do that,
things have gone differently. Oh man.
Shit.
But yeah, me and Mike obviously got to do our origin stories back in the day when we started the podcast. It's actually disappeared from the list somehow. I'm gonna find it and I might repost it.
Re-upload, yeah.
But yeah, let's get into you guys, Jose and Tom.
The newbies.
Yeah, Tom, how'd you get into hoops, man? You were just a young boy in France.
Yeah,
trying to make
back in the 50s or whatever it was.
50s. Oh God. Hey, Mike.
There was
no 3-point shot back then.
Isn't it the 50s still in Northern England?
There were no dunks.
No dunks, no 3.9.
There was no 3-point lines, but yeah, yes.
Short shorts.
Short shorts.
They're getting shorter
playing
though.
in cons. Yeah, it's horrible.
Shorter.
How did I get into basketball? Right. I used to. So, funny enough, nobody knows this. My first sport was actually tennis. And then
back then we
said tennis.
Rackets.
And then I used to play in like a couple times a week. And then I quit when I threw a racket at my brother, and my dad got pissed off. So, Dave, do you remember my beef with all the refs? I always have beef with refs. So I lost my shit, and I just threw a racket at my brother, and I went, "Yeah, fuck this. I'm not a tennis player." Yeah, and then fast forward a couple of years later, I started playing football up until the age of, I think, what was it? I think 13 years old, and I really hated football. I love the sport, but I hated the vibe around it. Like the parents were super disrespectful. The players between them was just like there's no teamwork. There's no appreciation of somebody else's action on the pitch. That is just like me. It's a very selfish environment. I always hated it. And then one of my friends who's who I used to go to school with started playing basketball. And he was like, "Hey, you should come and try it out." And it's literally in the same club. There was a multi-sport club, so you had football, rugby, basketball, tennis courts. So I joined, I made a switch to the basketball team, and I was absolutely useless for the first 6 months because the first time literally I touched basketball. And funny enough, around the same time I studied basketball, I moved to my hometown is Lyon, but Lyon is known for football. But right on the outskirts of the main city, there's another smaller town, which is the most famous town for basketball in France. Like they won the most titles since the 50s and stuff like that. So, and at the time when we moved there, we literally moved right next to the arena. And my dad, yeah.
You said since the 50s, so they won 2 titles before you moved there.
No, hey, God, you're funny. Oh shit! I walked right into that one. No, they were super famous, super big from the 50s all the way to the 80s, and then they went into this really dark place where they had no money and everything. But then when I moved there, it's pretty much around the same time they had this revival, and they started getting some more sponsorship, and the crowd was going back in, and there was a lot, like every game was sold out. My dad got tickets. And so we're right next to the arena, like, and every Saturday or every midweek also we see all these people rushing in, And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I went to watch the first game, and the first game turned out to be against another big French team at the time, which was Limoges. They were European champion at the time. That was '93. They won the EuroLeague. So it was them, massive team, biggest team in Europe at the time, against us coming up, getting a bit of money. I got a bunch of players from the NBA that joined in. And then we won the game on overtime, and the place was absolutely mental. And I was like, shit, I love this. I love this game. And the shout out to Delaney Rudd, who was the player that joined us, that team in '92, I think. He was on the Jazz and the Blazers, so he was backup point guard for John Stockton on the Jazz.
Wow.
And then if you Google him, YouTube him, there's a bunch of highlights of him with the Jazz, like the playoff buzzer beaters and stuff like that. But he joined our team, and he was absolutely, like, he's considered to be the greatest American to ever join. Anyway, so he turned out to be my neighbor also. So I would see him walking up and down the street. I was like too shy to go and talk to him, because obviously I spoke no English at the time. I needed to speak any French, but so he stayed there for about 8 years, I think. He became the legend. They actually retired his jersey, so nobody can use the number 4 now anymore.
Nice.
So yeah, and then I went to a bunch of games, and every time it was absolutely crazy. And then the more I saw that, the more I saw how people were in the stands as well, because I used to go and watch a lot of football games. And the vibe in the football stadium is hugely different from a basketball stand, where there's a lot more insults being thrown in the football games, a lot more rough. And then basketball, I found it a lot more respectful, apart obviously when things wouldn't go the way of your team, you know. And then on the court, like I started learning how to play better and better, and then it was all love from there. And then I messed up my knee and stopped for a while. But yeah, so my love of basketball came from seeing my local team coming up again, you know, rising from the ashes, if you will, and then making it all the way up to the Final Four of the EuroLeague in, I think, '97, '98. And that was really really something big at the time. It still is now to this day, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything else that made me fall in love with it. It was so that now you understand the reason why I'm a little bit more well versed in the EuroLeague and European basketball, because I spend literally most of my weeks, most of my days, you know, thinking about the French league and the EuroLeague and or any European competition we'll be playing at that point.
Yeah, and it was tangible, right? You could go to the games and things like that.
I could go to the games, and then the French national team was also getting into a good place. You know, like what was it? The first silver medal in the Olympics was it 2000 when they lost against Team USA or something? You know, that Vince Carter dunk.
Yeah.
What Olympics was that? It was 2000, wasn't it? Sydney, yeah, Australia. So
99, is it?
99 is Euro 99 was in France, because I went to a couple games in Paris. That was really great.
So cool.
We could have won. We should have won it, but then we messed up against. No, it wasn't Spain. I think it was Italy or something like that.
Spain.
We whopped Spain. We whopped Spain a lot. We used to beat them a lot at that point. But then it got worse.
Not anymore.
Well, that's even now, but it's they got us. We got them. You know, it's fine. There's hard feelings.
All right. So, Jose, tell us your story. How did it begin?
Yeah. So, basketball for me was, I mean, I'm this kid that, you know, had to try every sport before choosing one, you know. So my mom took me to football. Obviously, I'm from Argentina, so small city in Argentina. They took me to football. Didn't like it. Took me to learn how to fight karate, and I didn't like it. And then I went, you know, after school, I went to a friend's house just to like play date. And his dad was taking him to basketball practice. And he said, "You want to come?" So I said, "Sure." And I loved it. I said, "Okay, I want to play this." And I was a big dude. I was like tall as a kid. And then, but I wasn't, I was really bad at it.
Right?
So I changed clubs actually because I couldn't make the times on like the practice times, and I changed clubs, and I was really influenced by this coach. That he was just a really good coach for kids, and I hated it at the beginning because I wasn't good enough. So I would make up excuses not to go to basketball practice. But then I got a little bit thinner because I was like a big dude. I'll show you pictures later. And I lost weight, and I started obviously developing and hitting puberty. So around like 12, 13. So I started actually playing when I was 6, but at 12, 13, I started getting really good at it. Made like the all-state team. Started training with under 15, under 17th, and then when I was 14, I actually when I was 15, I played my first game with the first team of my team, of my club, and I actually ended up playing like semi-professionally, but then obviously I started uni, and it's kind of like you can go either way.
Yeah.
But I stopped growing, so I hit 6'2", 6'2.5", and played center my whole life, then power forward. So it was really hard for me to learn how to play small forwards, which I think I play small forward now, but anyway, positionless basketball anyway. But obviously I decided to study and get a degree, and which I did. But yeah, basketball for me was just I was highly influenced by coaches. So I had my first coach as a kid, and then growing up and learning actual basketball fundamentals and how to play team, how to read a defense and play with with an offense reacting to that defense, like full court press, and how to get away from pick and roll play to defend the pick and roll play on each side of the court. I love the tactical side of basketball as well. You can literally dissect every little thing. And then I remember what cemented everything was as well in 2004 when Argentina won the gold medal. Having just lost the final in the FIBA World Cup in 2002 against what was Yugoslavia back then, and then we won the first game of that Olympics with Manu Ginobili just scoring that prayer that he shot against Serbia. I don't know if you guys remember it, but oh my God, I was watching that live. I was crying, literally crying. And then
there was nothing wrong with losing against a Yugoslavian team, by the way. It was just
it was Dejan Bodiroga, and we lost in overtime. With the team that by the way, Luis Scola played that game in 2002.
Dude, Luis Scola played every game ever. Dude,
5 World Cups
before I was.
Isn't he still in the NBA?
He's still in the NBA.
He should be in the NBA.
He's on the Spurs, man.
Anyway, and basketball was just such an important part of my life because it gave me self-confidence. Whenever they speak about sports being a social thing and having an influence on kids, not just because of fitness, but about the social thing. I would just live in the club. I would just be in the club. If it was summer, I would be at the club, just playing every day, getting there early, and I loved it. And funny enough, when my first job as a real person, as a real grown up, was in 2011. So I got my degree it's a bachelor's degree in sports science. So I worked as a PT. Right, first job you can get, PT, and I managed to get a really good job in a hotel in my city in Salta. And that same year, there was a tournament called the Super 4, which is a tournament that they have in preparation for big tournaments like the Olympics. So that was right before the 2012 Olympics. So the full Argentinian basketball team stayed at that hotel. So I met Manu, I met Nocioni, I met Scola, Roberto, Delfino. All of them. I was just like, I was at the gym when they were working out, so I was like dream come true to me.
What year was that? What year was that you said?
2011 when I met them, but they played 2012 the Olympics. So it was just unbelievable experience. And since I had a degree in physical education as well. So I started coaching. So I fell in love with coaching basketball too, teaching kids, and I still do it. I still coach here in England and play in an amateur league, but which I love. I just enjoy playing. Like any time I can be in a basketball court, it's just. And the NBA was such an important part because I remember my first basketball game I watched was just Michael Jordan, beating the Sonics and then the Jazz and everybody. And then I even loved watching him in the Wizards. I just tune in just to watch the games. So I mean, I think that the most important thing is how important it was for my personality. Like it gives you that trust in yourself, that self-confidence. Again, I'll say it 1,000 times. So I'm not saying that my kids need to play basketball. My kids need to play sport, but I hope that they feel what I feel for any sport. It's just passion, isn't it? And the fact that we're doing this right now, like I never thought I'd be involved in something like this, and I just love it. So it's amazing. And I mean, I would have never met you guys. We have actually never met physically, but maybe one day, right?
Yeah, I'll see you on the court. But when we play, I get Jose. Dibs on Jose.
Dude, I'll be filming, so yeah, you do it.
Shit. 2-on-1 situation.
Yeah. Our pick and roll is going to be dynamite. I'm telling you.
That's going to be the only dynamite, the only thing.
Oh man, no, that's awesome. That's awesome, and it is great that you continue to coach and that you coach over here as well. It's a great thing. Coaching is a great thing. I want to get into it, actually. To be honest, I just don't know what qualifications to get. It's a bit messed up over here where there's two different leagues, and
you sort of coached us a couple of years ago, right, when we were doing that league thing.
A little amateur coaching, and I still think about those days, the decisions I made, what went wrong.
You didn't call timeout. Why? You should have called timeout.
That what haunts you every night. You can't sleep.
Every 2 or 3 days I think about it, man.
I'm still haunted because that was me. I'm still haunted because I was wearing the wrong shoes. My shoes were shit. They were like giant boats, too heavy. That's why I played no defense. Shoes.
Yeah, man, I remember my first basketball shoes were the Shaq, the Zebras.
Oh God.
The were they called Hypnotics or something like that?
Yeah,
because it had the Shaqnosis. Yeah, that's it.
Shaqnosis. Yeah.
So good. But I also remember having the Kobe 2. They literally looked like a car.
The spaceship. You had the spaceships.
Love them.
Dude, you should listen to our sneakers special we did. There's all of that in there.
Shoes, man.
Oh God.
Such an important thing. This not always basketball shoes were always important.
Yeah. My first specific ones, I had I say in the special, I had Shocks that I would play in, but my first proper like basketball shoe were Iversons. They were pretty big as well. I used to like them because I was fast. Having heavy basketball shoes meant I could stop really easily.
Really?
Yeah, so I could just stop and start, and it really helped with my defense, Tom.
It's like a lead weight just hit the ground.
Yeah, helped anchor me.
I think if I remember well, my first basketball shoes were the Nike, the Penny Hardaways. I think. Do you remember the one with like black and white? There's massive white shape thing. It's really weird. There's the massive air bubble underneath. They were heavy. I remember they were heavy as well.
I used to play in what were they? They were like Air Force Ones, but they made like a basketball specific type. I can't remember what they were called.
Yeah, but isn't that what Sheed used
to
play?
Is that the Jordans?
It was Sheets. It was Sheets.
Yeah,
that's when he looked so cool with those on the Blazers with the Air Force Ones.
Yeah, I strap off.
They were fucking massive, man. They were so heavy.
I remember. Was it talking about the All-Star game when Shaq had a phone in his.
Yes. Oh my God!
And he gave it to Iverson, and Iverson was like, "Oh shit, this is working!"
It's like the size of his head or something.
Yeah, it's like a massive size 25.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Shaq was insane in the noughties. He was nothing like that in the 90s. What the hell happened?
He's going to be an old man now.
Yeah, the breakdancing competition with LeBron and Dwight.
Yes. Okay.
All my dance moves they all come from Shaq. From the All-Star game. Yeah, it was cool.
You know what Shaq is? He was so massive, but so agile for his size, wasn't he?
Yeah, insane.
Like a cat.
Agility.
Like a big cat. Yeah, what was the other, talking about shoes? What was the other thing? Yeah, there's the one of those mad shoes also was Arenas playing in Dolce and Gabbanas.
Oh my god!
Remember that?
Arenas.
That's freaking nuts. They were all black, right? I think he played against the Lakers in them.
No, there was a gold. Yeah, it was in one game against the
black
Lakers.
And gold,
I think black and gold.
Mm.
I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Arenas was that guy, man.
Yeah,
he was the man for like one season.
Yeah,
high impact.
Yeah. High impact, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact he's quite important in like I don't want to say the story of basketball, but when he started to come the internet and basketball, because when he started to become prominent, he was like the first NBA player I remember having a blog.
Oh yeah,
and he used to have a blog on NBA.com. Yeah, it was ghostwritten by Dave McMenamin, who's pretty high up at ESPN now. But yeah, he used to have a weekly blog, and I used to read it every week, and it was like the only place you could get like pretty much unfiltered stories and things like that from an NBA player, just direct to you, the consumer. And now we have so many other platforms to do that. That it's completely saturated, but that was the first time I remember just getting stories from an NBA player, just straight up, like not an interview, not a documentary. He would just write, and it was hilarious and brilliant all at the same time.
What did you win from that? Did you get like shoes or signed jersey or something?
Yeah. He did a giveaway. Basically, you just had to fill in a form and send it off, and they would send. And originally when he said it, I thought it was going to be like a pair of shoes and and a jersey, but I think what happened was they didn't realize how many people would actually enter.
Right,
because it wasn't like first 100 or answer this question, and it was literally a giveaway, so you just had to fill in the form. And I filled it in twice. I was meant to get some stuff for you as well, Mike, but by the time it finally arrived, it was just the jersey and one shoe. Just the right shoe.
Really?
Signed jersey, signed shoe, but just one shoe.
Nice.
You don't need more.
Just play in one shoe. I'll beat you with one shoe, Tom.
Yeah, of course. And then wrap the jersey around the other shoe, the other foot, and then
That's how it works.
Famous players. I actually got so that same year where I met Manu, and I just told you I met Ginobili and all the Argentinian team. The Puerto Rican team was there too, and I actually met
Carlos Arroyo.
No, JJ Barea.
JJ, but even better.
Yeah, NBA champion. Yeah, and he gave me a jersey as well, so I have it back home somewhere. But I also met Peter John Ramos. He was a 7'1". Tallest man I met. Like I was like, okay, nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's a good.
To John Ramos. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Good player.
Have you met any famous players, Tom?
God, let me think.
Besides the guy who you used
apart
to
from
make
Delaney,
omelets for.
Who was it? Damn, I'm trying. Let me think. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm quite old, so I've got memories going back. So it takes me time to remember. Go around somebody else. I'll come back. I'll get back to you. Oh shit, yeah. Do you guys remember the Romanian center for the Wizards? Muresan.
Yeah.
Muresan.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talking about tall? You were talking about tall. That dude was tall. Yeah. So that's my claim to fame. I think that was him. Is it the only famous one? Oh, Jerome James. former Knicks.
Okay.
Oh, really? How?
He did the playoffs with us, with my team. Well, not with me, but like the team I support. So he was on there. He actually was all right. Like he averaged like 10 points a game, but he was blocking 5 a game because he was way too tall. But then the last game he was so slow that the coach benched him. He was like, "Nah, dude, you just nah."
Yeah,
and then he went to the Knicks for like 100 whatever mil he got. Absolutely mental. Blew my mind. I was like, I literally saw that dude. Like I see him walking down the street, like, and then there he is on the Knicks, getting paid. They spend that money on burgers. You know.
That was such a crazy contract, man. Isaiah Thomas just ruined the Knicks. Ruined them.
Jerome James. But then, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm just trying to think that there's a difference between players you've seen play that are super famous and play, you know, like that actually was in the arena to watch play, you know. And then in that case, you've got who was it? Oh well, I watched it was last year, 2 years ago, when there was a pre-Euro tournament in France, and there was like France playing, so you had all the NBA guys were there. You know, Tony Parker was there, and Boris Diaw, and Batum was there. Yes, but then they were playing all the other teams. Also, Vucevic or whatever his freaking name is, and then Bogdanovic, Serbia was there. So Argentina, of course, Campato and everyone was there. They were guests. I don't know why they were there though, because you know, obviously in Euro. But hey, I guess they wanted to stretch their legs. Oh no, yeah, that was good. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else super famous that made it maybe to the NBA.
Yeah, me and Mike went to an Olympic game. We got tickets to the semi-finals at London 2012.
Yeah,
that was dope.
And we were like, "Please be the USA, please be the USA, please be the USA," and it wasn't. It was the other side. So I think it was it Russia, Spain?
Oh, fuck. I
think it was Russia.
Yeah, because Argentina played the USA, I think, in 2012 in the semifinals, or was it quarterfinals?
Let me get to it right now.
Quarters. I think it was Lithuania in the semi.
Lithuania,
yeah.
Well, it was the top. Huh? Nah, hang on. 2012
London Olympics. Yeah.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
You're looking at handball, Tom.
Basketball 2012. Wait. What do we have? Silver?
That's the Frit and Frime podcast.
I know what as the women. I'm looking at women.
That was a terrible joke.
There we go.
Bit different.
Hang on, let me switch to the men's one. For some reason I got to men's tournament. There we go. Men's tournament, and we got that's the group stages. We don't care. That's great radio, right? All right, USA first, Spain.
We were right.
There you go. Right, gold, Team USA, silver, Spain, bronze was Russia, and Argentina was fourth.
Oh, it was Argentina in the semi, right?
Yeah. So the semis were
USA, Argentina.
Yeah, and Russia, Spain.
Yeah, so Spain, Russia, USA.
So
Argentina.
Russia probably still had Kirilenko then.
Yeah, I think they had old man Kirilenko. Yes,
Shved was in there.
AK-47.
Alexei Shved.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Like it was a good team, but it was like, okay, Spain versus Russia or Argentina versus US. Like, I mean, it's great that we got to see it, but the 50-50 was mean on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we got to see like
the Gasols.
Young Rubio and the Gasols.
Yeah, the Gasols.
I think Ibaka played then 2012.
Ibaka played that one.
Rudy flopping it.
Carlos Navarro.
Good team.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, they had just won 2010 World Cup too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Had they?
The only good moment from the Olympics, the greatest moment in sports happened in the Olympics when Batum went for what was his face? Oh, Navarro's nuts.
Oh my god.
Do you not
moment
remember
in
that?
Sports, yeah.
Yeah, sportsmanship. The Olympics is all about sportsmanship, and he went, "I'm taking one for the French people," and he went bang right in the nuts. He didn't play the ball or anything. Well, he played all the balls, but he went bang. And believe me, in my house there was not one dry eye. We're like, yes, take it. Give it to him.
I didn't realize how important the matchups between France and Spain were until I watched Tony Parker's documentary.
Oh,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh, so the Tony Parker documentary on Netflix, it's only like a tiny little bit of it. Like there's a documentary that came out on the equivalent of, I'll say, Sky Sports in France, and they did it's like an hour and a half long on the Euro that France win, and there's a semi-final against Spain where France won after OT, and we were down by like 20 at the half, and then Tony Parker went in the changing room and went, yo, like I don't care if we lose, but at least show some balls, and then they went absolutely crazy in the second half. Nice. But the entire thing, the entire hour and a half, just shows you how much it's not like there's literally now there's beef between the two teams, because like Tony Parker said, it was like if it wasn't for Spain, like we would have so many more titles, gold medals and shit. Like a lot of them was for us. But then again, if it wasn't for Spain, we wouldn't have got so good, because we needed somebody to push us, right?
And also the Italian and Spanish leagues are a bit stronger than the French league.
Not the Italian anymore. Did you see the at the time? Yeah, at the time, yes, but not anymore for the Italian ones. I think the Italians regressed a little bit. There's actually a league table, a European league table that came out a couple of weeks ago, when I think it's still Spain on top, and maybe Turkey, and then France, and then Turkey. Germany. It's like Turkey's up there. Greece is way low because of money problems. Like Olympiacos, both of them, they have no cash. They find cash somewhere somehow. Greek style, sad, but man. Yeah.
All right.
I've got beef with the Greeks also.
A bit Brexity over there, right?
You also have a beef against the British, don't you? Right. Like French.
No. That's the thing, dude. That's the funny thing is I spent the last 20 years being here, and I had to. Do you know how many times I had to explain that? Actually, France, like people in France love Brits. Like it's not. They're not looking up to Brits, but it's like, yeah, they do some cool stuff. They're quirky and they're a bit mad over there. But there's never issues. It's only when I came here and I was like, you guys are a bit obsessed with French people. Like, you gotta chill. Like, we actually like you. Relax a little. We all right. We burn shit. We burn cars once in a while, and riot sometimes. But we all it's in good spirit.
Who doesn't? Right?
It's for the
doesn't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to stay warm somehow.
Exactly.
How else do you celebrate?
Exactly. Like Christmas, blow shit up. Yeah, that's what we do.
All right, guys. That was fun. That was fun.
Got trip down memory lane.
Got to know my co-hosts a bit better. I hope you did too. I'll find that episode and repost it, so
yes, please.
You can hear our stories and hear me talk ill of LeBron before he joins the Lakers a few years later.
Expose yourself. God knows what we said on that.
Expose him. Expose him.
I think if you want to get a bit more personal, right? I think we can head on to onlyfans.com/Michael.
All right.
Michael the Northerner.
Hey.
Up close and personal.
Get that lockdown money.
You got to give the people what they want.
Coming soon.
Anyway.
All right. So, I guess that concludes the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe, review, and all that good stuff. Reviews on Apple Podcasts will help us get more exposure. Same thing on Spotify, or whatever platform you listen on. We're available on all platforms. If there's one that you want us to be on, shoot us an email or send us a message on social media at gritandgrimepod. At gmail.com for the email. But this has been the Who We Be episode. I have been David Sagoe. That has been Thomas Arnal.
Hey, you've got it right. Yeah.
Oh, I pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic.
Right now, who else we got?
No, wait. He'll
You
have
got
to
50%. 50. It's a 50-50. Yeah.
Wait.
He's red.
What order
Red.
did we appear in?
Red.
What order
Red.
did we appear in?
Red.
I don't know where I am. Wait, I'm gonna be
Red.
there.
Red.
The
Jose Garcia
longest
Vidal.
outro.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Michael Downey. Hey.
It's the best YouTube outro we've ever done. If you're listening, yeah, it sucks.
Makes
Sorry,
no
guys.
sense.
Yeah, man. We out
All right.
here. Bye.
Bye.